And wait for a few seconds. All right, everybody. Hey, guess what? It is currently Saturday, April 6th, 2019. You're listening to the disclaimers by Ed Johnston. And yes, he is alive. Yes, they haven't managed to get rid of him yet. And yes, you are still going to be able to get some knowledge from him. What you do with that knowledge, well, that's up to you. Whether you sit on your with your thumb up your and absolutely do nothing, or if you actually work for it and become pretty much protected under the law, not the legal system, but the law, then you're good. But if you just sit and do, then that's your problem. And enjoy the FEMA camps and the concentration camps that are going to be happening. Ed, why don't you take it away?
All right, thank you. I thank everybody for joining. It's been amazing for the last several months. I'm still here. I died 9 times, they claim. Hey, they claim it. It's all on a recorded record. And I'm getting ready to file it because I got everybody going on me going, Ed, you've been talking all this shit. How are you going to file it? When are you going to stand up? You got to admit, now that things are going because it's been filed. And you've been watching and witnessing changes in your administration through the state, federal, and local cities. You're going to see more. I'm being harassed by my local city right now because they say I got a boat parked on my property that I don't have a right to have a boat parked on my property because it's a public nuisance. Like I told the mayor, shove it. Now, I got these deals that they're trying to put me. They got this registered mail they sent me. They're trying to put me in a contract over it. So, no, I'm going to go file it in federal court because, see, I can't play the game anymore. I've been nice, and this is the point. You people got to figure this crap out. There's no goddamn thing about God and religion. Either you stand up or you don't. So, and now I'm getting ready to stand up. I'm going to put a turmoil in a lot of shit, okay? And you guys got to pay attention. The media won't tell you who, what, why, and how, but you'll see some other changes, but you'll know where it comes from. Because I'm starting my filings, and this is the one thing I'm getting ready to rock the boat or sink it. See, these public employees, you got to remember, there ain't no goddamn thing called the federal government because the federal government is you. Look in the damn mirror. Okay, when it says under even Hinkle's case, you are the government. What was the famous judge who was assassinated by Obama called, Judge Scalia, found with a pillow over his face, suffocated to death. And I got to tell you, folks, I ended up with information on that with the actual guy who did this stuff, and I had it on my computers, but like I told you, a year and a half, 2 years ago, I went through all this shit with my computers, and I went through all the shit where things were happening with my computers, and I'm trying to save hard drives, I'm trying to do things, and, I had videotape that was sent to me from the compound. See, it does matter. People say, who, what, why does it matter? It does matter. And if you don't prove you're lawful in this country, you have no damn fucking rights. It's like a good friend of mine said, if you don't have it certified A stamped and it says that, you don't have a right, well, you got to go get it filed and then go after them on your rights. And that's what I'm doing. Like I said, it ain't a joke. I've been 9 times dead. It's filed. These guys are freaking out. I tell you, right now I'm home. I haven't been home in a long time. And I know they're out for me in the area, but now it's public. I don't give a shit because I don't care because I know that, I have faith. Because I know in the sleep they're going to have to deal with their own dilemma. I don't have to be a part of that. It's not my deal, but people are waking up. If we don't start taking the parasites out, I mean, look at the priests raping the children and getting away with it. Oh, the legal system, you stupid asses. Don't you realize that your court system is the goddamn religious Vatican? Muslim, I don't give a goddamn fantasy of your religion because religion don't goddamn exist. It's a fantasy control to rape, rob, and pillage, to rape the children to get away with crimes. So you can rape children. That's acceptable by religion. Okay? That's the saddest part that we live in today. You know, I believe that a woman and child is raped or something like that, give them a dull knife and let them deal with it. Too bad, too sad, crime dealt with. So we got to get back to realistic points of view on these things. This damn shit of these court system, Article 1 court system to make a damn living and keep putting all these people, like, when it comes down to, the guy, it's like, when I went through that stuff with Jay Smith and Measure 11 and all that stuff, Jay Smith was my brother-in-law that was murdered in Portland or accidentally shot. But see, we were going to a jury trial to find out, and next thing you know, they started doing this Measure 11 shit, so they wanted to change the goddamn Constitution to administrative fucking rules by Kate Brown. Okay? I mean, when the cops come up and you're going to a wake and the cops come up and they're bringing the perpetrator in and your mother-in-law is going, let it happen, don't kill them, don't do this, Ed. And I'm sitting there going, why? And the cops are going and they're telling me by a name I'm known by that people are not known by me. You know, that they knew me because I had responsibility when I was growing up. So it's like, so I'm looking at going through this. And then Measure 11 comes in. When Measure 11 comes in, they screw the little children. They screw the kids over it. Because any child that is under 18, and now you got to remember, they're trying to do the voting law right now at 16. The goal is 14. Yeah, people got to stop being stupid. I don't have time for kind words. I've been dead too many times. Every kid's going, no, Ed, you make people run because you're so blunt. And it's like, well, either you're an American or not. Grow up. Put your big boy and your big girl panties on then. Either be a man or a woman, or if you're going to be a person, shut the hell up. Persons have no rights. Persons are dumbasses. Look the word person up as an inanimate, inadequate subject. You know, I write this stuff and I put this stuff up. Now, the one thing that folks have to wake up and accept, and I appreciate what the Supreme Court finally did. Now, it came out and it clearly stated that the treaty of the Tillamook tribe, or hang on a minute, I'll get it. A native tribe just won in the Supreme Court, Hakama tribe, up in Washington. They just won the Supreme Court and says they don't need building permits, they don't need hunting and fishing licenses. And I have proven this myself to the state and House and Senate. I have filed my rights. So the one thing when you go to court, wake up, dumbasses. And I get tired of all these gurus on these internets and all these Facebook sites going, oh, people, you don't have to file what Johnston tells you. Just file this, that, and the other thing because you're an immigrant or you're a citizen or you're a corporation and you have these rights. No, you don't. That falls under administrative rules, and under administrative rules, when you go in and you lose your case, you don't have a case when you go in. I've been trying to explain the court system to you. It's not a joke how it works. A lot of people have been through it. A lot of people have been around it. So do you want to learn how to defend yourself, or do you still want to be a dumbass on a 501c3? I mean, I get so sick when I watch all these nonprofits on Facebook going after, oh, we need to get an attorney. We need to do this, and not one of these idiots out there are willing to educate those people that lost their children on their rights. If I'm not mistaken, the major cases, 2 of them just happened with Arizona, that, oh, they have to have a warrant to take your kid. File it. Stand on it. Okay, people say, well, I'm scared to do this. I'm scared to do that. Well, they stole your child, so you don't give a shit. You don't live with your child, so you prove it. You lie. You lie to your children. Say, if you're not willing to defend and stand up for your children, you lie to them. It's simple. It's not a joke. Are you man, woman, or child? Person is an inanimate object. I keep watching all these TV shows and they keep going into persons. And I watch all you folks sitting there going, oh, persons, persons. And I sit there and say, well, this is what the law is. And I go, oh, Ed, that doesn't matter. Or, oh, Ed, why? I say it this time, doesn't matter the next time. And it's like you're missing the point. If you can't talk and protect yourself in your rights, you have no rights. You have to talk it and speak it. You have to prove you have it. If you don't prove it, you don't have it. If you don't talk it, you don't have it. Simple. Okay, I got a letter I'm getting ready to put out to the city here in my community. Watch my shit. I'm on all over the internet. I know a lot of these sites don't like when I put my stuff up. You know, I even have the stuff with John Kidshopper filing on property taxes in 2013. Read it. See, read the damn law. Shove that Christianity crap in your religious Muslim shit up your butt and take it back to your country. We don't want your religion. We don't love you. We don't care about your religion. Your religion destroyed you, and you're trying to destroy our country by your religion. So what do you want to do? Have children and protect them, or do you want to just give them up and play the damn game? See, this is the reality we are living. This is not a joke, folks. You know, once you start standing up to what the facts are, you start learning what the reality of what's going on. Now, I always preach on even Title 42, 408, dealing with their Social Security and everything. Social Security is a contract. It's owned by the government. And I get so sick and tired of these dumbasses who don't read the damn original contract. Read the original contract. You have rights. The original contract of Social Security was for lawful bloodline native. That's why the Supreme Court in 1937 and 1939 stated clearly, and I put it out, and it's on the websites and everything. I put out the damn Supreme Court case. It's Constitution because it gave us a retirement structure, lawful bloodline natives only. End of story. And then you have this compassion from all these idiots that go, oh, we need to have compassion to these foreigners that come and rape or rob our children. You know, all these people want a better life because they don't have a life in their country. Not our problem. Right now we're having shootouts on the borders here in Oregon and down in California and New Mexico. You know, you got to realize even your states are, you know, people are being executed by public servants through that. Your name comes up on a roster. You think that they lied to you and say, oh, your name don't come up when it comes up on the computer. Yes, it does. It comes up. And it says if you're mentally ill and they do this, that, and the other, execute. Wake up, you dummies. See, I mean, it's there. We put the videos up. We've sat there with the House and Senate bills. We've read them on the air. We've sat there and explained this to people. All right? They're doing this to protect you and I call lawful bloodline natives. Figure it out, damn assholes. Because, see, if you don't start filing your rights, you have no rights. Stand up on your rights. Raise hell with your rights. I do that. I'm getting ready. I'm going to make another filing. And if I get to the next city council meeting, I plan on making a public filing, raising some hell. I plan on doing that. I got to check the weather out. I'm trying to get around. I mean, the medical expenses that I've had with the hospital where I'm at and stuff. I mean, you know, it's called, you know, transportation expenses I don't have. You know, so I'm living in a deal where I'm going down in some other structure because if they can't bankrupt you, they can't kill you. And if they can kill you, they bankrupt you. So they haven't been able to kill me, so now they're trying to bankrupt me. You don't get it, people. It's your children. It's your future. It's your grandchildren. Oh, I pay property taxes because I have to. I've already proved property taxes are fraud. Even in the state of Oregon, I've got it filed all the way going back to 1995. Well, we're going to say have some public hearings. I was already speaking all this crap when I first went at the hearing. When in 1992, I went at a public hearing dealing with natural hatchery projects. Well, they were talking about it. They didn't have a clue, and I wrote up a plan. Me and a friend of mine, we drew plans for natural hatchery projects on the Columbia River. That so long as there was so much fish just put in the regions of each dam or each reservation or each reservoir, so long as you didn't sterilize the fish, you would have a tenfold return. The Democrats, Kate Brown, I don't know, a lot of them didn't want this. Because, oh my God, if you started doing that, the food was doing that without the state's assistance so we could guarantee some college university a job, some watershed project a job. Well, watersheds are bullshit. I'm one of the founders going back 25 years ago in the watershed projects. Go prove me wrong. In all of the watershed projects where people couldn't get a damn job because they got scientist degrees and they got watershed degrees and they got these fishing degrees and biology degrees and there was no job for them, so they created that. So when you look back of how the government has improved, 400% indictment debt project. So your government went 400% in government in the last 20 years, 25 years, watershed projects, all these things, Sophie Islands up in Portland from ODF and W, all this crap. Okay, you got to remember that if you don't act your rights, it's like they go, Sophie Islands says you can't drink on Sophie Islands. I've got my emails to ODF and W telling them I don't give a shit what you say. Prove me wrong. I have a right to drink and fish, and you can't tell me what to do. And look at the emails I'm in. I got to get the other emails up. You can see these people going, okay, Ed. So you got to learn how to respect these men and women and stand your ground. Now, there's a lot of things I don't bring out and I won't publicize. Because I want to respect the public employees who are honoring their oath. And that is the point. When you've got that, you have to respect them. And we have a lot more public employees starting honoring their oath than we had in the past. So work with it. Learn what's going on. Pay attention. It's like I talk to people all the time going, well, I didn't hear that in the media. I didn't hear that. And it's like, it's in the mainstream media. It's all over Facebook. It's like, well, I'm not paying attention. Well, then if you're not paying attention, well, I'm sorry to say. Because things are moving. Things are altering. They are changing. It's like everybody keeps going on, well, Trump just opened this up on the reservation so they could double the piping on the Keys pipeline. And it's like, yeah, look at all the dumbasses. You dumbass. Yeah, not calling you a dumbass. I've talked to your chief. I talked to the people. I've emailed all this shit to them. It's like Donald Trump even told you, if you don't file on the corporation, you don't have a fucking right, you dumbass. So I get tired of listening to the whines. Either you learn your damn Constitution, you learn the treaties, and you learn your rights, because your rights supersede this administration bullshit. Grow up, little children. Okay, it's really disturbing when you watch these people that are whining and crying. Shit. It's like, I remember when they sent the clergy in for my last rites and all this shit, and I'm like, shit, aren't you afraid? Aren't you nervous? I said, I'm not justifying a corporation job. Shit happens. What am I supposed to do? I can't sit there. If it's up to me or the Creator. And people go, God. Well, I don't know your God, because all I know is the Great Spirit, Mother Earth, and Creator. I know without the Creator and Mother Earth and the Great Spirit, there's no children. There's nothing to that. That goes back to native belief. I'm not going to accept a foreign dictatorship into my country. I've proven my bloodline already going back to George Washington. I proved my bloodline through the Civil War. with the birth and not only that, the born records and the death certificates, as well as the grave sites with my bloodline. So, I mean, all that's been filed. This file has been publicized. So, I mean, and if you want to know if you have rights, file it. Because the only way your public employees are not going to put you in a FEMA camp if they know who's lawful and legal and you just shut up. Because when they're going door to door, so long as you shut up, they're not going to come to your door. Okay, that's what the tags, and I mentioned this before, the tags they did 10 years ago on your mailboxes. Oh, everybody says that. It's like, people, you didn't read the Senate bills they put out. You didn't read congressional bills they put out. You want to go by what somebody tells you instead of reading the damn facts, what they wrote to do it to justify the profits and nonprofits. Your church is a nonprofit, but it's a profit organization as well. But they can't tax the profit on it because it's a nonprofit, because they're supposedly helping the general public. You know, I remember growing up in the 70s when I started realizing, and churches used to have doors open. Today they don't, they lock them. What does that tell you? So, I mean, step out of the movie and watch this production and what we're living. Now, like I said, with the Yakima Treaty, pay attention to this. File your God-blasted rights if you believe in that great spirit of the Creator. I believe in a Creator. I don't believe in a God, because a God came from England. A God came from Spain. I don't care about a foreign religion. You know, that's the point. Everybody keeps going, oh yeah, don't sit there and go after religion. Well, you know, it's not religion I'm going after. The Constitution gives you the right to believe in your religion. But my religion is my belief. Your belief is your religion. So keep your mouth shut. Especially if you're a Muslim. Learn how to keep your goddamn mouth shut. If you're a Christian, keep your mouth goddamn shut. If you believe in Mormon, keep your goddamn mouth shut, because who cares about what you believe, because the Constitution gave you the right to have religion of freedom. Not to preach it. I don't give a damn about your religion. All right? I've been dead 9 times. This is on record. This ain't no damn joke. Okay? The bottom line comes down to quit going in falsifications of what your beliefs are. If you have a belief, believe in it, let it be, don't publicize it, and have your faith. And your faith is supposed to be in your four walls on your property, not, and if it goes to a church and a congregation, it's supposed to be in that four walls. It's not supposed to be televised, because the preachers ain't telling you how to stay out of trouble. The preachers ain't telling you that if you register your child in the state, that they can steal your kid because it's a profit under human trafficking. They don't tell you that. Oh, that's right. They need the money because now they need to come back because, oh, you had these problems, so let's pray to God. We're not going to solve your problem. We're going to pray to God. What the hell are you praying to God for? Where the hell is the solving in that? So look at the solvings that are up there. Like I brought out deals with people on how to file on your mortgages. And everybody keeps going back and forth. Well, damn it, watch the Van videos. Read what the hell that's filed. Start being an adult. Quit acting like a goddamn whining little child. Pisses me off when people do that. You got the videos, you got the information right in front of your face. Why the hell ain't you reading it? How come you're not typing it down for what was done in the courtroom? Not listening to the judge and the courtroom and the jury as well as the lawyer who ripped them apart. See, that's what gets to me about people. Oh, we want some silver bullet. We want somebody else to do it. We want somebody to pass the magic finger or push the magic button because we don't have to be responsible. It's like drug and alcohol. You know, oh, I'm a drug and alcohol. Win-win. I'm writing my stuff. I mean, I'm on medicinal use, okay, because I don't get medications like the doctor says to me, well, so long as you're taking this, that, and the other thing, we can't give you pain medication. I said, okay, fine. Then I take this, and you're going by your system, so you're liable. Oregon State Supreme Court has already put it in recorded record twice. So has it been in federal court 5 times. It's like hemp is lawful, not legal. Read the damn law, children. It's never been legal. It's only legal to elected and public employees, registered church member, and to all immigrants. Let's go through this again, children. Legal only applies to elected and public employees, registered church members, and all immigrants. Learn how to read your Constitution and treaties for what it says. You know, it's like I sent this out to many people. I sent them, well, Ed, where does it say 5 or more generations? And I put it in with the 14th Amendment. It's like, read it. And people go, well, what does it mean? And then I highlight it and I send it back to them. And it's like, if you can't get it after 3 times when it's highlighted, you know, it's like that's where I start feeling that I'm being set up by somebody. Because either people are that stupid or they're setting you up. So wake up, pay attention. Because, see, that's the one thing that we have going on right now today. We have an door opening. Now, what's going on with Trump on these things, if you have affidavits, file it and serve it. I know that there are so-called judges out there that are serving things. Okay? Prove you're a judge. Prove you're a lawyer. Prove you're a corporation member. Prove you're an attorney general. Prove the facts of your filing and registration with the state before you get stated. I know that. You have to file that. But then that way you take a title of nobility. I won't do it. I won't accept the title of nobility because once you accept the title of nobility, you're not a free man or woman. Remember, a person is a corporation member of the Vatican, Roman Catholic Church, and Muslims. So we can stone and rape your children and kill you. Wake up, people. That's a reality what those religions are. These people get away with so many things, and people go, oh, I got to go pray to God. Well, like my question is to people, who's God, what God, why God, what is their God? So, I mean, and it's not being hard on those religious men and women. I mean, you have to respect my point of view, what I've lived and what I've gone through. You know, I mean, there's things that I've gone through, including a couple of relationships that, you know, I look back. You know, I don't regret the circumstances or what happened. I'm angry of how it happened. So, you know, these people say, do on others, do on others, do on you. Okay, fine. You know, but see, that shows you when, you know, people say that, you know, it's interesting in the way of life on these things. So when it comes down to your rights, file your rights. Because when you go to court, you have to prove you're in an Article 1 court or an Article 3 court. No shit. I've been doing the research. I've been posting this shit up on the website. I've even done the research into Title 28, Title 26, Title 22, and Title 18. And the structure going, and remember, these are all administrative rules, but they have to put these administrative rules to comply with the Constitution of the United States for we the people. Remember, the original structure is for we the people. It's not we the people. So we get convoluted by the structure out there. So when you write your instruments, when you're putting your Title 18, 37, what is that, 37117, you know, putting in the structure of your corpus delicti, you know, 3771. If you don't put that in your filing, folks, you have no damn court case. My course got thrown out. My case got thrown out. And I keep suggesting to people, Put this in, see what happens. All right? So many people that have been putting that in, we're watching them. The courts are coming back with, oh, we can't deal with this. Oh, we don't know how to handle this. Oh, and it's like that's the point which you want. Now, when they do that, you have to push them to put you in the right court. This is the one thing, it's our responsibility. Yes, it's been that screwed up. And yes, it's kangaroo court system, as we call it, to the general public. But the point is that it's been so screwed up for the last 20 years, nobody's paying attention. Most people for the last 40 years hasn't paid attention to shit because everybody, oh, we got a job. We're getting paid $65 a month, and it costs me $40 a month to live with my partying, my expenses, everything. Go back in time. That's the one thing that I used to have was old newspaper articles. And I had old newspaper articles going back to the 60s. I did that for a reason to put together eventually so you can show the history of how society was programmed to think, how taxes were structured, how the businesses called grocery stores were able to write off things or give you specials. See? And that's the one thing that when you step out and you watch all this stuff, it is a reality. It does work this way. Oh, it's like everybody keeps going, I go into the stores and I always love to get the, steak that's been there for a week or two in the store, maybe 3 weeks even in the store, outdated. Oh, what is that? That's called aged meat. But you'll go to the grocery store, you go to a fancy restaurant, pay $30, $35 for an aged steak, but you can get it at the grocery store. See, it's learning how, what, why, and how your circumstances work. If it has any discoloration in the meat, any glitter or tone or, rainbow color, definitely not. But see, it is one of those things of how to look at these things. So when you look at the circumstances of these things, these are how these things step out and bring to yours and our attention. It's like the other point going through with elected and public employees, And it's like everybody keeps going to government, and I keep going, whose government? What government? Why government? Aren't you the government? Didn't Judge Scalia say we the people are the government? We're the first branch of government? So don't you folks get the reality of what the treaties and the Constitution is? So when the Supreme Court comes out and say the Yakima Treaty has rights, they don't have to have a business license. They don't need a hunting and fishing license. All right, get off your butt, file your rights, follow it. Because if you don't agree and support them, you destroy the country. It's your fault that your grandchildren don't have a right. Nobody else is your fault. Because you're not filing to prove that you have lawful blood rights as a Native American. See, if we don't sit there and start protecting we the people and the lawful bloodline natives, what is the next generation going to get? I remember listening to people back in the 70s and the 80s on this, real elderly people, back then in their 50s to 90s, and telling me this, that, and the other thing, and what's coming down the pike and how it's going to work. I don't know if anybody, they've had conversations like that with their elders. And you go back and you look at it, and they're telling you how the country is going to end up and what's going to happen. And it's like, I remember a guy telling me that what's going to happen with the next coming election. This was told me about 1981. That the Republican government is going to start standing up and democracy is going to be killed. But the only way it's going to happen is you. File your rights. Or you're an American, stop lying. If you're not American, get the hell out of my country, our soil. All right? It's like the thing that everybody keeps going, oh, we're a country of immigrants. Fuck you. Terrorists, invaders, raped, robbed, and pillaged to come on our soil and destroying our families and raping our women? Excuse you? This is a reality. This is real world stuff. This ain't a joke. You don't come into somebody else's home and tell them how to live. You don't have a privilege to do that. or even a right. That's why your Second Amendment is to protect your family. That's why your children should start learning your Second Amendment at least by 10 years old. When they're 12, they should be able, at least with a 22, shoot at 100 yards and knock anything out with an open sight. Why would I say that? Hey, anybody I know does it. Anybody I know with kids at that point knows it and does it. I mean, you know, and most kids at 12, 13 years old are already using sidearms. See, it's learning the correct wording when you talk to a public servant. You know, oh, you're into guns. No, I'm not. I'm into sidearms. I don't want to get into the militia conversation because everybody's going what, why, and how with that still right now. Okay, but see, the thing is, you have to file yourself to be lawful first, and if you're called in, you're called in. How is that supposed to work? You'll see in here in a few years if you file and know if you're lawful or illegal. You see, we are in that capacity where we do have the technology to verify who, what, why, and how. And stay away from that 23andMe shit of DNA, because all they're doing is trying to say who's lawful and legal in the country. And they're having you pay for it like over stupid idiots. You're paying for this 23andMe shit to go, I'm a native or whatever. You ain't a native unless you can prove it by your grave sites and your bloodline. Get off your ass, prove that you're native. You don't sit there and go through a test and go, oh, DNA is this bullshit. That's why Senator Warren won't take a damn DNA test claiming I'm a Cherokee. You know, that's why the joke about her called Pocahontas, and anything knows about Pocahontas and the real story about Pocahontas, how she was taken over to England and raped all the time. Come on, people. Learn your history. I mean, Christians came over here. That's why everybody flies that American flag, the war flag. Yeah, I'm going to be ordering my Civil War, my civilian flag here. I'm going to be posting it here as soon as possible. Because we got to start posting that civilian flag out there. It's our responsibility to start letting people see what it means. Ask them, question it. How are they supposed to know it unless you post it? Unless you put it on your property? Unless you put a picture on your door? See, this is all about education. You know, I always love it when people say, well, you have to do this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, that's why I sat there when I was in the hospital. You know, they kept on coming up to me going, well, we need to register. We need your Social Security. We need this. And I said, I'm under duress. Do you have an issue with that? Boy, do they run. You know, I've lived it. I'm still living it. Learn what I'm talking about. They know it in their structure, but you have to be polite. You have to respect these men and women when they get it, respect them, and go on. Don't sit there and, you know, go yell on the street corners and keep your religion to yourself because your religion has nothing to do with it. It's called men and women who care and believe in their country. Wake up. Step out of the movie one day. Watch the production. And if you don't get your court system, that's the one thing I always recommend, Interstate 60, the movie. And if you don't get it the first time, please watch it twice. I recommend everybody watch that movie twice with a pen and paper. You've got a lot of very serious actors and well-known actors in that movie. And so that is the one thing, when you watch that, it shows you your court system. And that's what I keep walking you through. Here's your Article 1 court system, administration, city, county, and state, your Article 3. I mean, I got the cities keep sending me these flyers going, you know, oh, they're sending me this stuff by certified mail. Well, they're committing mail fraud. So I know how to file it, which I'm going to file on them. Because they're going after that for my boat on my property because they're trying to have me agree to some fucking city ordinance. Wake up to how the game is played, people. Okay, this ain't a game when it comes down to it. You have to comprehend and know when to hold them and when to fold them. And I'm holding them. I'll be damned if I'm folding them because my case is proven. You know, I mean, they even got the evidence, too. I mean, where the state attorney and district attorney tried to have me killed. They got the videos out there, YouTubes. This is through the Senate public hearings. This has been publicized in a newspaper more than once. It's been publicized, and I'm going to be putting out and sending it. And I'm going to have this publicized on the front page of new.org and Trackers, where I put the district attorney on public trial. And I want you to read why I put this woman on public trial. Oh, that's right. Oh, one of the local fishing boats was throwing pot that was found on GP property, but they threw the pot out of the boat, so the sheriff picked it up. So this is like they're saying the district attorney and did all this wonderful job. This is all in the fucking paper. I nailed all these people and they're fraud. Okay, knowing the game, it's not a joke. I lived it. I know why they're pissed. I'm not backing off. You know, I mean, I had a wonderful woman. I've had two wonderful women, maybe three, but two wonderful women in my life. We didn't pay attention to each other. So, you know, shit happened. Can't change it, maybe. Who knows? But that comes to the other side of fantasy, of believing in those fantasy or even religion. See, I don't believe in that part. I believe in the woman, she has a soul if reality hits. That's what you should believe in your own relationships, is having that strength when the reality hits and you're going back and forth and you need that man, woman, and you're going back and forth. And I can even say, all right, partner. So, but I mean, that is a man or a woman's decision, not choice. The choice means, oh, I can do stupid shit and I can get away with it. No, a decision means responsibility. So if you want to go on the other side of the coin of that, you have to be responsible for thy actions. No injured property damage, no personal property damage, no crime. Simple. So we got to get back to reality, even though that we don't like certain things that, oh, we got to go on this belief because we've been taught. No. We have to go to the Constitution because a man and a woman child. Oh, child still have rights until they're 18. And now the state is trying to push it to 16 in the state of Oregon, and 3 other states are doing that. One state is pushing for 14, so that way they can enter a contract, marriage, driver's license, any contract. See, you know, it comes down because they're doing this because the parents are so stupid because they haven't had the responsibility over the years. They gave it to the state. They let the state do it, so the state's going, good, now you can sit there and screw your family up more, but we're going to let the kids vote. We're going to let them screw you over. They're going to come after your assets. I mean, how I say that, because that one girl, oh, I'm going to sue my parents. They're rich, and they didn't like what I was going to school, so they have to pay my school. And the court said no. But that was administrative court even. But see, if you file your rights, you have to go. Everybody keeps talking about grand juries. What grand jury? You have a grand jury. Everybody has a grand jury in their county that's funded and controlled by the state, that is under contract by the federal government, called the Indian Treaties. So there's no common law grand juries. The grand jury is already put in our system. So with the grand jury is simple. You have to file to go to the Article 3 court. How do you do that? When you get a court date or a judge, you have to file to see he has an oath of office. You have to file if he has the Constitution insurance clause. See, this is the point. Everybody's going, why do we do all this work? Then stop whining. Because all of this work is being educated to your grandchildren, your children, and those that are coming up. We do this work, they get to know it so they're not incorporated slaves. So either you mean you're protecting your children or you're not. It is so simple. That's what shocks me. But see, we've been confused by all this thing. It's like, I went through those arguments with my city right now. They're trying to fight me with my boat on my property because of easements. Okay? I have an easement that Portland Electric gave me a telephone pole on my property. As long as the telephone pole stays on my property, I have the rights to the creek bed that used to be a salmon registered creek. Spawning salmon. Of course, we don't have that by what they put all the piping in and everything in my neighborhood. But I want to keep it open because if I could get the stuff and put in the paddle wheels, and set up solar, I would love to do that in the winter. Okay? So, but then I got all these other expenses right now, running back and forth to the doctors, don't have the income for it, so got to figure out something. So, I'm looking at some options right now I have to start doing. So, but I got all these things going on, but we got to start pumping out to file on your rights. Donald Trump came out and even told people, if you don't file, you don't have rights. How come people do not comprehend the facts, the real truth? That's what amazes me. When you have it or you read this stuff and argue with people on the internet, how do you know this? Or I send them what the law says, and then it says, go research it. Well, and then they tell me, well, the court case exists, but what does that matter? File, prove it, stand on it. That's the point. What does it matter? Are you willing to stand on it? Are you willing to sacrifice your name on it? See, remember, it's the court structures of the state Supreme Court, city, county. Those are administrative rule courts. Those do apply to elected and public employees under administrative rules. So, and that's the point where you need to, when you write your affidavit, separate it. Write it that way. When you produce it that way, the judge looks at it. There are things that are going through. And then if it doesn't, I sent you a thing of what a clerk does, how a clerk was supposed to file. So if you don't put that in your instruments when you're filing your paperwork, and people go, well, why should I put that in my paperwork now? Well, because you put it in now, they don't respond. You already notified them in that affidavit. You don't have to backtrack. See, people got to learn how to cut the steps. See, once you cut the steps, that's how we start producing our rights. Because we cut the steps through it. So because of that, now we got more rights. You're reading your rights and enforcing them. And people say, well, that's a court case. Well, question a court case. It's like the 1902, what was that called? The 1902 court case that says they can't take your guns away or arms. See, we have major cases in our system that have gone with the Constitution. And that goes with the Yakima Treaty. Okay? And I've been fighting with the Yakima Nation. I've been sending the Yakima tribe shit for the last several years. If anybody knows me, everything I post on the wall, I send out to everybody. It just might not be on Facebook because I email it out. And not everybody sees what I do, but the thing is that either we have rights or we don't. Do you have a right or not? And if you're elected a public employee, registered church member, and an immigrant, so long as that you pay your administration costs and do that, you're paying them to protect you. It's like, step out, comprehend how it's working. It is there to protect us and you. So anyhow, what I'm going to do is we're going to open up the floor. And it's going to, because like I said, I got a lot of things coming up that I'm going to be going through, opening up stuff, because I'm moving stuff, because I've been put on a position that basically shit or get off the pot. So I'm going to be doing a lot of major filing and a lot of stuff coming up, because I figure, what the hell? And I'll be filing stuff with several cities and stuff that's going to be happening in the next 2 weeks. So,
all participants are unmuted.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to add anything? Okay. Well, I emailed out a lot of information to people the last week. I put a lot of information on people's Facebook sites in the last week, so you've got that information. So seeing that you got that information and those other requests on how to file stuff and get that, I did do that. I did send people the structure on the federal driver's license. Please don't get caught up in the other stuff. There is a federal driver's license site in the federal government that protects that. That's going back, and that's part of what came through in the treaty, so I'm getting the rest of the information on to get that out. So it's finding the information and channels that we're not aware that exist. So anybody else got anything they would like to say? Okay, with that, we'll tie up tomorrow, and then after tomorrow, we'll be doing every other week. Because I'm going to be going through some intensive medical therapy because I'm still a guinea pig on some stuff because I didn't go through a heart transplant, pacemaker, and a few other things, and the medication they put me on, and some other things going on. So I'm still here, so that's the point. And so under the circumstances, you know, you got to look at the options. So I'm doing the options. So with that, may the Great Spirit and Mother Earth look after you. And most of all, the Creator is going to protect us. Anyhow, y'all have a blissful evening.
Now, don't you mean, Ed, a heart implant due to the aspect you don't have one originally?
No, they told me I didn't need the heart transplant. They told me I had some heart somewhere.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
that's how I'm going with that one because I went through that when they sent the clergy down a couple of times, more than once. You want your last rites and all this stuff, and it's like what? And it's like yeah. So I didn't need a new heart, so apparently I have the heart.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, thank you everybody for listening, and we will catch you tomorrow if Ed wakes up in time to. Education with Ed, and yes, next week we will have a break, and then the week after that it'll be every other week basically, to where Ed gets a chance to get his stuff done, because as the practicing, they haven't actually got it down pat yet, but they're practicing the medicine. The practicing doctors have said he really doesn't have much time left. So they're trying to increase his time the best they can. And that means he's got to focus on things that he wants to get done before the Great Spirit calls him and he becomes an ancestor of our people. So, with that, we'll see you tomorrow, and you all have a good day, and we'll catch you tomorrow. All right, tomorrow. Right, Ed? Tomorrow?
Yep, tomorrow, same time.
Okay. All right. Talk to y'all later.